cap it at 200, all right? Because any more water than that begins to actually deplete nutrients in your body because you've got too much going in, okay? Sip your water throughout the day. Don't gulp it, okay? Sip it throughout the day. It's best to have it at room temperature, okay? Not too hot, not too cold, Goldilocks, all right? Just keep it right in the middle, all right? Because that's what's best for your body.
So 100 ounces is the max?
Is the max, yeah, for you, okay? And you should take the weight that you really are, not the weight that you want to be, okay? All right. But actually, when you start drinking water, if you start drinking, you're hydrated on a regular basis, you're going to start losing weight, which is really amazing, okay? When you're fully hydrated. Right? Who's gone to the hospital and they didn't feel good, and what's the first thing you do in the ER? They hook you up to an IV. Don't you know, in like 10 minutes, oh my gosh, I feel so much better, right? Because you're hydrated, right? We're walking around in a constant state of dehydration, and oh, I can't wait to get that one too. So when we talk about water, that's week 6. So, all right, so we're going to, all right, talk about proteins, all right? Now, proteins, they are the building blocks of our body, right? Our body uses and assembles about 50,000 different types of proteins to form organs and flesh and nerves and muscles. Roles of proteins, just quickly I'll go through the enzymes that manage all the biochemical processes in the body, the antibodies, the proteins that help fight infection, right? Hemoglobin, okay? Our red blood cells, they carry the oxygen, that's a role of protein. Hormones, huge, huge, huge. They help regulate metabolism and every other body function. So approximately 30% of your daily caloric intake should be from high quality protein for optimum health, okay? So we're gonna have 30 over here, okay? All right, those sources, what does that look like, okay? Looks like free-range eggs, grass-fed beef, whole raw dairy, deep sea water fish, fresh fish. Examples of the sources that I'm going to give you on that list, that's kind of like the ultimate, I strive to achieve that. Does it mean I do it all the time? No. I don't always have, free-range eggs in my fridge, or most of the time we're pretty good about the grass-fed beef. That was a switch that we've been working on for years. And we're actually not a big dairy family, and you actually can't get raw dairy in the state of Michigan. It's illegal, okay? Don't get me started on that. We won't talk about that, but you can look up, just Google raw milk, and you can read all about it, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about it in the coming weeks. And then, our fish sources, you try to do the best you can, okay? And that's what this is about, okay? This isn't about you gotta go home and you gotta just pitch everything in your refrigerator and in your pantry and go drop $5 grand at Whole Foods. That is not what this is about, okay? Because I guarantee, while it all seems exciting, in a couple of weeks you're gonna be like, I want a bag of Doritos, and they don't sell Doritos there. Okay, it's about meeting you right where you are, okay? And that's going to be different for each one of you, okay? Pick one thing, okay? Pick one thing that you are willing to do. Because that's the thing about, recreating your pantry and your fridge. It's so overwhelming, you're not ready to start with everything. Start small. This is baby steps. You're looking for lifelong changes. We're not looking to turn our rheumatoid arthritis around in 2 weeks, okay? It's not going to happen. But the more you stay hydrated, maybe, you know what, I want to try free-range eggs. I'm going to give those a try and see. Do a taste test. Buy your Meyer eggs, and I love Meyer. Buy your Meyer eggs and buy your free-range eggs. Look at visual, taste, okay? Play around with it, okay? Use yourself as your own guinea pig. That's what I've been doing, all right? And find out what works well for you, okay? Now, a little side note about the financial side of things, okay? Because some of you out there might be going, it is too expensive to eat this way, okay? And I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to spend my money. I got a huge family. I got to feed them, all right? Well, I would challenge you to measure what you spend when you go out to eat at restaurants, okay? Or when you drive through, and the money that you spend doing that versus what you might spend on just trying a little bit better egg, a little bit quality butter, a little bit better vegetable, okay? see for yourself, okay? Some studies have been done, actually a couple of NTPs did it during the course as like a community service project and found that if it wasn't the same, they actually spent less on better quality food than eating out in restaurants. Maybe they were going to some really pricey restaurants, I'm not sure. But some people would argue that. So challenge, do it for yourself and see what makes sense, okay? Or you decide that we're going to switch out the eggs in our family. I'm not going to touch anything else right now, we're just going to switch out the eggs. Okay? If that's doable, whatever is doable for you. Okay, this isn't about, well, Cindy said I got to change my eggs. No, you may be fine with your eggs, okay? But some people would also say that, it's better to eat the way that God has intended for us than to maybe pay some huge medical bills later that could have been preventable, all right? If we might have owned our health. So, we're going to talk about fats here, all right? Fats. 30% fat in my diet, oh man! Bring on the butter. All right, fats, let's talk about it. Animal and vegetable sources of fat provide concentrated sources of energy in our diet. We need them. Contrary to popular belief, a high percentage of good quality fats are required for optimum health. Praise the Lord, right? You can have butter, right? I love butter. Kerrygold is my brand. It took me a while to get there, but Costco sells it in 3 packs, all right? It's probably one of the best quality butters you can get around here unless you're going to go see your own cow yourself. It's called Kerrygold. Kerrygold, it's from grass-fed cows. Meyer sells it. Yeah, Trader Joe's sells it. You can get it salted, unsalted. Actually, and a little extra incentive, if you buy it in the springtime, when the grass is super, super green, your butter will be even more yellow and it'll be a little more tastier. But that is an excellent brand of butter. So, okay, throw out the margarine. Hopefully nobody in here is using margarine. But if you are, try some Meyer butter. Maybe Meyer organic butter. Maybe try that Kerrygold. Throw it out on the table and look at it. Taste it. See the difference. Figure out for yourself. Maybe you're like, you know what, I don't care about the Kerrygold. I like what I'm doing over here. That's fine, okay? It's what you are willing to do for you, okay? All right, so what do fats do? Why do we need them, right? They provide the source of energy. They're the building blocks for cell membranes and hormones, okay? They serve as a protective lining for all the organs of the body. They slow the absorption of food. They make you feel satiated longer. If you were going to have some bowl of oatmeal for breakfast, okay? And put your fruit on there, like who eats oatmeal for breakfast, right? You got your nice bowl of oatmeal, you're throwing fruit on there, and I would encourage you to take maybe a pat of butter, mix it in, or coconut oil, okay, or a good quality fat. What that's going to do, instead of being starving in an hour from that bowl of oatmeal that's nothing but carbs, you've added a good quality fat to it, okay? And it's going to slow down the absorption. You could go 2, 3, 4 hours on that bowl of oatmeal if you just add a little bit of good quality fat to it. It's going to make you feel satiated longer, okay? And it's going to satisfy you. Plus, it's going to taste really, really good, okay? All right, so we're going to talk about classifications of fats. I don't have time tonight. I'm going to probably go over just a couple of minutes. If you have to go, I understand. But we're going to get into saturated fats, monounsaturated, what the good fats and bad fats. We always like to categorize things, right? But you basically do want to stay away from the hydrogenated, the highly processed vegetable oils, fried foods that are in poor quality fats. Let's talk about carbs really quick. All right, 40% carbs, okay? You want to break that down into 15 and 25, okay? Starchy, 15%, non-starchy, 25%. Basically what that means is 50% starchy, which is going to be like your breads and your sweet potatoes and your legumes, right? And then your non-starchy are like your leafy greens, okay? To keep that kind of simple, it's probably on the sheet. So simple and complex. I'm trying to race through this right now. Vitamins and minerals we'll talk about when we get to the minerals section. Now, I'm sure that there are things that you guys are doing well already, and I want you to focus on the positive. Maybe you've made some recent switches in your diet. and the quality of your nutrition, and you should feel really good about that. It takes a lot. It can take a lot for somebody to move from margarine to butter. That could be a huge step. I want you guys to embrace that. Seriously, as you move through and think about your nutrition and become aware of those things, okay? It can be huge to move from diet soda to sparkling water, and yes, you should not be drinking diet soda, okay? We'll talk about that when we get to water, okay? Maybe try some sparkling soda, okay, with some lime or lemon in it. But making those baby steps and changes is just a step in the right direction. But try to remember the 30-30-40 kind of rule. That is a good general starting point that everybody can start at, okay? And then you'll tweak it as you go. Erin?
How do you figure that, the percentage out in terms of how much food you're eating? Like, so if you need 40% of carbs, how do you figure that percentage out when you're setting your meal?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, what Erin asked was, how do you determine, okay, what does a meal look like that's 30-30-40? Okay, how do you know you've got enough carbs, you've got enough fat, you've got enough protein in your meal? That's where a nutritional therapist would come in and be able to show you that in a food journal, okay? I want you all, if you're interested, okay? Food journal is huge in nutritional therapy. This tells so much. There's guidelines to keeping a food journal here, okay? So if you want to maybe write down a couple of your meals, okay? And we can look at them, and we can go through, and we can see what is protein, what is carbs, what you might need to add, okay? But that's something that is huge in one of the tools that we use. Yes, Monica?
I was just going to say, for those who are able, there are a lot of apps that
Yes.
work as food journals, and they
Right.
break it all down.
Yeah. I mean, you can look up that kind of stuff and find, there's food count books, there's all kinds of things that you can, but that takes some time. It does. It takes some time to figure that out. Did that answer your question? To some degree? Okay. All right. But as you start in this general guideline, you're going to find that as you start tweaking it, that maybe you'll do better with a little less protein, maybe a little more fat, adjust your carbs, things like that. But I do want to wrap this up a little bit and be considerate of your time. But what I would like to remind you guys is that we are beautifully and wonderfully made by God on so many different levels, right? The body is designed to heal itself if we allow it to do so. And making some better choices in our nutrition is going to put us a step in that direction. We're made of trillions of cells, and they need to be nourished. Next week, we're going to look at digestion, how it's designed to work, and what dysfunction looks like. Okay, dysfunction in your digestion, believe it or not, is going to be a lot of these autoimmune issues. Okay, 80% of your immune system is in your gut, and we're going to kind of break that down and divide that up a little bit so you can see what some of those things look like. I think in my ad I said something about gluten sensitivity, right? That's related to digestion. We're talking about stomach acid, and I mentioned autoimmune illnesses. Here's what I would like you to do for your homework, okay, if you're interested. I want you to pay attention to what goes in your body, okay? I want you to begin to make the mind-body connection of what you are doing. Some people are extremely connected to that, and they know that if I have a sip of coffee, oh my gosh, I know I start shaking after 15 minutes, right? Some people are very in tune to what's happening. Other people you just eat and you just don't know. Yeah. I just want you to become aware of what you're doing, because it's you that's doing it, okay? I'm not coming up to you saying eat the Doritos, okay? You need to make those choices, okay? I'm not telling you to stop eating the Doritos. It's not what this is about. This is about just making a connection to what's happening in your mind and body, okay? And then what I'd like you to do, I had to skip over a little section there about being in a calm state, but this will make a lot more sense next week when we talk about digestion. But when I want you to pay attention to what state you are in, state of calmness, okay, when you eat your food, okay? I want you to maybe pray a little bit longer before you take your food in. I want you to relax. I want you to not be multitasking, okay, when you eat at least one meal a day, okay? Maybe for you it's one meal a week because your life is so hectic, but I want you to pay attention to how your body responds to that, and I'm going to talk about what happens in your body when you are not in a calm relaxed state when you eat, and we'll talk about that next week, okay? But I want you to notice how your body responds when you are relaxed. If you have to sit on the floor to calm yourself down, then do it. But eat at least one meal a day or a couple meals throughout the week in a calm. Don't be standing over the sink eating, watching the clock, okay? Or in your car driving, okay? Third, chew your food. I want you to pay attention to how many bites it takes before you swallow, okay? This is going to make a lot more sense next week, okay? It's going to make a lot more sense next week. But this is your assignment, so we're going to unpack this next week. Note how many bites it takes before you swallow your food. Then, I want you to, in the next few bites, put the fork down in between bites, okay? Or chew your food 20 times. And yes, you can chew blueberries 20 times. You can chew your smoothie 20 times, okay? What that's going to do is it's going to start to get those digestive juices working in your body. And we're going to cover what all that means next week. But I want you to start having that awareness so when you come to class, you're equipped knowing that, well, I didn't notice the difference, or oh my gosh, this made such a difference for me when I was actually calm when I ate a meal, okay? It's optional if you want a food journal, okay? You can grab one on the way out if you like. Okay, there's some food journal guidelines if it helps you to maybe be calm while you eat. But there's a couple of days of a food journal here. There's guidelines. There's some information about our buddy, the cat guy, Pottinger, and then Weston Price if you want to read further information about this. WestonAPrice.org is the website that I go to for a lot of my information. And you can take a look at the books. So that's the homework for next week. I want to thank you guys for coming tonight. Yes?
SOS is going to be down here next week, so when you come back next week...
We are up in the sanctuary, yeah, for class, right? All right, so, all right, I just want to close really quick. We're called to be good stewards of the things that God has placed in our care, but sometimes we take better care of our things than we do our own bodies. So I am challenging you guys to put yourselves in front of your things, all right? And just take a look. Take a look at what's happening with you. You're going to begin to notice when you go to the grocery store. You're going to start walking. You're going to stop walking up to the things that you have a coupon for or that you like, and then you're going to start recognizing the things that you know your body needs. It's going to start changing. It's going to start evolving. But give yourself time because you're going to recognize that there's certain things you maybe just don't want to eat anymore. I would open it up to any other questions. I know that we're over, and I apologize greatly for that. But if there's any other questions that you want to ask tonight, please feel free. If you'd rather be confidential about it, you can put it here. Or if you want to email me, my email is right up here. Okay, you can send me any questions that might pertain to you personally or maybe in general if you've got some questions. Anybody have any questions? Yes?
On your email address, is that a dot after Cindy? That's Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy.Hall2448. Okay? There's a little dot there. Yeah. All right. All right. Why don't we close in prayer? Heavenly Father, thank you for this time that we got to spend together this evening. Help us to begin to recognize the changes that we're going to make in our temples and mindful of how we live. Bring us back together next week, Lord, so that you can help us move further along the path of things that bring us closer to you, especially as we surrender ourselves and be able to live healthier lives in our bodies with our nutrition so we can continue to do your work. Thank you once again for the blessing of all these people, and be with everyone tonight as they travel home safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, guys. Come try the salt. Try the salt.
So good for me.
Don't touch the camera. Come here. Hi.